De Lord Ali bought his suits and his wife's clothes. Explosive revelations about Starmer's first year. Your Chancellor is in tears. Heated confrontations expose government turmoil. Young voters declare, "I've seen every aspect of my life get worse." As critics predict, he's totally finished. This heated GB news debate reveals Labour's shocking struggles. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated.
Well, he came in on a wave of optimism. Then this happened. Freebies gate, yes, they all went to see Taylor Swift and they didn't initially declare that properly. Then it turned out that Lord Ali bought his suits and his wife's clothes. And let him stay at his penthouse. But why were you staying at that £18 million penthouse, Sir Keir?
I wanted somewhere safe and quiet for my son to do his GCSE preparation. I needed it to be secure because of the situation we were in.
Oh, so your child could revise for his GCSEs. Shame that the exams finished way before you moved out, though, wasn't it? Weird that, just got comfy. And does anyone remember this woman?
Leaders have to motivate people to do things they wouldn't otherwise do.
That was his voice coach. Yes, just his voice coach, who had to give him lessons on Christmas Eve during lockdown. So it was a bad start. All that came out, scandal, scandal, scandal. But then things got better.
At times like this, we must all put the national interest first and play by the rules. Of course, I understand that sticking to the rules can be inconvenient, but stick to the rules.
Oh, no, they didn't, because it looked like a video emerged of him in Lord Ali's house during COVID as well, so that was all a little bit odd. Well, then he's scrapped. He's done more U-turns than a one-armed swimmer, including this week on welfare, which caused his Chancellor to cry her eyes out in Parliament.
And may I take this opportunity to thank our outstanding British Transport Police for everything that they do to support...
Of course, that was a personal matter. Talking of U-turns...
Politicians who sat in government for many years, calling for inquiries because they want to jump on a bandwagon of the far right.
He didn't want a Pakistani rape gangs inquiry, but now there is one, and he likes calling people far right, a bit like he did after Southport. Remember that? Gosh, didn't handle that well, did he? And he said that he wouldn't raise taxes, but taxes have gone up. He's here. What's your name? Where are you from? What would you like to say, mate?
Oh, yeah. I'm Reece. I'm from Bury.
Lovely part of the world.
A bit, yeah. No, I just wanted to raise a point because this past year, since the Labour government have been in, I've seen every aspect of my life somehow get worse. I've seen the nation financially just destroyed. I've seen so many riots in streets, and I've seen so many wrong things like crimes from illegal migrants. And I saw a 20,000 migrant channel crossing figure the other day, which is the most in a record history, which I'm so shocked at. So I just want to ask, what is Labour going to do to turn it around? Because they've done a lot of U-turns and not for the good.
So one U-turn they could do is...
What was the first thing that Starmer did when he came to power? Talk down the country. Yeah. He said there was a 22 billion hole. Well, they somehow found 175 billion to fill that 22 billion hole at the same time as taxing ordinary workers. So I'm sorry. And also, what's their excuse for doing so badly in the first year? The Tories had to deal with a pandemic and then a war in Ukraine.
That wasn't in the first year.
The first 6 years...
The pandemic was in 2020. They came into power in 2010.
The first 6 years of the Tory government, we were recovering after Labour emptied our coffers. So I'm sorry, the first 6 years were incredibly stable and we recovered from a global financial meltdown. What is your excuse in your first year of power? Your Chancellor is in tears. Keir Starmer is already loathed by his own party, who he refuses to even speak to. And I can list a whole... His own Labour MPs say he looks down his nose at them. And what's he done for the country? He comes in, he talks it down, and nothing has got better. He's not had a pandemic. He hasn't had a war break out in Ukraine. He's just made mistake after mistake after mistake. And I think a lot of us are feeling incredibly nervous about where the country is going to be in 3 years' time.
I would like to add to that brilliant diatribe.
There's more?
There's more. What is so irritating is we He inherited a mess. Well, yes, there was a lot of spending.
The concern might be, for maybe people in this room anyway, is that what comes next, is it going to be harder left or whatever? So I suppose, Barry, final word to you on this, because, sorry, you have to take a bit of a pelting here, to be fair, mate, but what do you think Keir Starmer, honestly, do you think Keir Starmer's going to be imposed this time next year? It's looking pretty bleak.
Yes, I do. Look, I think it's been an incredibly tough first year. I think one of the interesting things, and we're talking about business confidence, is when the markets thought that Rachel was not going to be in post, what happened? They reacted negatively, OK? The bond markets reacted against that because they wanted her to stay in post, because they believe that at least she has stability.
By the way, we don't know that for sure. We don't know that for sure. They might have also been reacting because they saw a recreation of the madness that this government said it wasn't going to allow. Yeah, so we don't know that they reacted because she was going to leave. They saw their Chancellor crying and the pound tanking, and it's no surprise the gilt markets reacted at that point, because what they saw was instability in all its forms.
Well, that's not the way most commentators are spinning it.
Well, spin might be...